evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for being here. First, I'm going to thank our folks on TikTok, particularly Abi71 and Koboko. Thank you very much for your help. Thanks, Akadol, as well. I see those three names. Thank you very much for your support. We're on 28. We're at 28.9k likes right now on TikTok, and that's beautiful. So thank you very much. All right, brilliant. Thanks so much for your support. Words fail me. All right, so the rest of us, please let's join our folks and please help our tap so that we can get the live on the FYP. Most of our sessions will be this format, where we'll have replays, and regardless, we're going to have a great time. Okay, so today we are going to have a three-part series, so to speak, or three-part session. We're titling this Peter Obi's Failing 2027 Strategy, and that's poverty porn, victimhood, and the shocking Jesus analogy. It's a mouthful, but I think the shorter one is just Peter Obi's failing 2021. Sorry, Peter Obi's failing 2027 strategy. Why are we saying this? Is because I really want to have those of us who are Yoruba people, particularly. Listen, I support Tinubu. Let's make that very clear. But you can support anybody, okay? But I mean, I think in a way the people you support also determine. I mean, it's a window to how you think, and there's really nothing but hype about this particular personality, and I personally don't like it when people try to put Tinubu down, and then you ask for an alternative and they give you something worse. I just think it makes no sense. And yes, I'd like to also convince as many people as possible that that is not the right way to go. There are many. Just give us alternatives if you think he's not doing a good job. I think he's doing a good job. I think he can do a lot better, to be clear. It's not perfect. It's not doing a perfect job, but he's doing a good job and he can do a lot better. But it would be nice to have like a formidable opponent, and I don't see any. And the ones that are being propped up, it's important to also listen to what they're saying. And when you listen to them, it's just fluff. There's no substance to the things they're saying. And the cool thing is that we don't have to make it up. We don't have to even create something to say, oh, these people are bad, these people are good. No, all you have to do is just listen. And when you listen to them, you hear what they're saying, and their words convey their state of mind and also the preparedness for the office they're seeking. And then you can judge if the candidate is worth it at all. In my opinion, he's not. But you know what? You may have a different opinion. That's okay. But let's all listen, to this stuff from Peter Obi. So we're going to be listening to three short clips. And then the first one is why Peter Obi's poverty porn is a failing strategy, but there are two others that has to do with victimhood, and then the other one has to do with the shocking Jesus analogy, where he compared himself with Christ. It's quite interesting. Okay, before we get into all that, let me welcome you guys on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you very much for being here. It's a delight to have you join us. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We want to announce that a lot. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Even if you're on TikTok, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. To be honest, most of the things you're listening to, you get to have replays right on YouTube. You also get to watch longer versions of our videos, right? That's long form content on YouTube. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel and also subscribe to TikTok. That will really, really do us a lot of good. Thank you very much. All right. Before we get into this, I see some comments already. Good afternoon, Ade Glow. Thank you very much for joining us, ma. All right. Good. So let's get into this. Like I said earlier, we're going to be listening to three clips, and we're going to start with poverty porn. What I'll do is I'm going to read the description of each video before we start listening, so that way we can have a smooth flow. So let's start with this one. Great. Politicians often resort to curious talking points when substantive discourse fails. And the recent claim by Peter Obi regarding his status as a tenant is a primary example. His followers seem to embrace this narrative as a sign of shared struggle, yet the reality of his financial portfolio tells a different story. This is a man who served as the chairman of a bank, owns a supermarket chain with multiple locations, and by his own admission purchased a £1 million property in the United Kingdom as far back as 1996. The attempt to push a tenant narrative feels like an exercise in poverty porn that fails to resonate with those actually facing housing insecurity. The strategy appears to be a thin attempt to bamboozle the public rather than offering a serious plan for national welfare. Beyond the theatrics of his living situation, his recent interviews have unraveled into a pattern of Yoruba people who are framing the Igbo experience through a lens of imagined atrocities is a baffling choice for someone seeking to lead a unified Nigeria in 2026. These ethnic maneuvers suggest a candidate more interested in regional sentiment than national president. Elections deepen when examining national security and fight against insurgency. While the federal government recently published a terrorism financing report officially naming IPOB and its sponsors, Obi has historically maintained that the group is not a terrorist organization, even referring to them as his people. This is despite the fact that IPOB has been proscribed as a terrorist organization by the Nigerian government since 2017, designation recently affirmed by the Court of Appeal. This alignment creates a bizarre silence within his obedient movement, where supporters often become mute on the subject of IPOB because their leader holds brief for an organization legally recognized as a terror threat. True progress for the country will not come from cheap tricks or manufactured humility. Electorates are becoming increasingly aware of the gap between political performance and economic reality. Those committed to the truth must look past the carefully crafted image and demand accountability for the rhetoric being used to divide the citizenry. Acknowledging these inconsistencies is the only way to ensure the Nigerian political engine is driven by competence rather than gaslighting. Here's why Peter Obi's poverty porn is a failing strategy. Enjoy. I want you to listen to Peter Obi himself. It was on a podcast recently, and he lambered us. Take a listen to this wonderful lamber. Hey, this man. Anyway, take a listen, please.
Obi has a landlord.
I have a rented place in Lagos.
You are living in rent in Lagos.
Yes. Yes, I have a rented place in Lagos. She saw me today playing with my landlord. Say yes. I have
Peter Obi has a landlord.
You have a landlord. Wait.
Peter Obi has a landlord.
What I'm saying is I have a landlord cooking, doing this, and clean my environment and everything.
So Peter Obi cooks and cleans?
Yes, I do. And I serve everybody that comes to my house. The day you come, it's me who will give you food.
So first of all, if you come to my house, I'm not serving you anything. Like, there's a particular age you get to go along. Number one, what's all this? I'm poor, I don't have things. If I don't have anything, I don't have a house. You have money, but you are playing. I have a landlord. You know what? I don't want to even. I will respond though, but may I play you something? Take a listen, please.
They claim, and I saw him claiming that Peter Obi has no property anywhere in this country. This is the greatest fallacy of the 21st century. Peter owns a company called Next International. He's probably the biggest property owner in this country. I don't talk of the big shopping mall in Abuja. His younger brother controls everything.
Is there anyone in Anambra?
Oh yes, there's ShopRite he has at Onisha. Everything about ShopRite is Peter. He annexed a land in my town through a foreign and offshore company, and he's building something there now.
Wow. If you go to a man's house who is married man's house, and I don't like talking personal stuff, but here's the point. The point is, there is no joy in saying that you are the one serving people that come. I saw a video where he was serving them, and those ones also sat down. We were collecting something from a 60-something-year-old man. Hey, one on lossy later. No, you didn't go to the kitchen. You're waiting for him to come and serve you. What's the goal in that? What does that tell you? That means that you don't know how to govern your home. You are serving people. If you are not married, that's okay. But even if you're not married, that's not a sense of you. That doesn't mean you. That's not humility. Do you know a person working for you at home that can help you? What's this? I have a small place I'm living in. Meanwhile, you actually own next. I don't have property. Meanwhile, your businesses have. What is okay? So you not having property, how does that make me now vote for you? Is there like a place for the poor, like the desire of Nigerians is to vote for poor people? You have a landlord, so the bar is too low in this country. Someone says, Obi family are living in the UK. Even if they are living in the UK, what's the glory of if you come to my house, I will serve you? Whether you serve me or you don't serve me, what does that do for me? Okay, your family is in the UK, but you're saying you don't have property, but the property in the UK belongs to you. There's a video here. I'll play it when I put out this video. There's a video here where he was telling the person how much he bought his house in the UK. Meanwhile, you are working, you are making money, you have been a chairman of a bank. You have a right to own property. You're not a poor man. If you own a property, who will speak? I mean, okay, so let me ask you, let me even ask in the comment section. So you hear today that Peter Obi has a house in VI. Would you have a problem with it? Like, what sane human being would have a problem with the fact that it's Peter Obi? He's not a small boy. He's not, I'm even speaking on his behalf right now. He's not like, forget politics. He's doing well in business. He's been in business for a while. Someone said Panama, leave Panama alone for a while. But he's been in business. I mean, say if you make money, you not spend it on yourself. Which one is after me? Apologize to people. I don't really have property. What do you mean have property? Of course you do have property. If I find it that I'll play it. I'll put it on YouTube, on this video. To post there where he was saying how much he bought a part. In fact, I found that video. Take a listen to this.
Every Sunday, yes, so I go no car. My house, called 1996. I said, can you give us proof? You bought this house in 1996. September 1996. My check in full, being full payment. They are both checked his prepayment of retail class called as I agreed. Sent full payment 1996. This house like selling for 1 billion, for 1 million pounds. It's there. So one can man listening before I happened what's back in the name $7 million. Both them companies are trading. It's there. So all that is a business. But for me, I'm not even sure that a man I change the time. Call them man. No, call them man. What is my own idea? For example, it's okay to make TV business. Setting it up. Come on, what the company petrol? I'm telling you, we want another not to go change here.
How rich do you think you'll be if you're able to buy something worth £1 million in 1996? Scratch that. £200,000 in £200,000 in 2026. As a 96, you already bought a property in the UK. However you got that money, it's between you and God. But the point is, let's even say you didn't buy anything. The idea that you have to make yourself out to be a poor person is actually just weird. And that other guy is shouting, Peter Obi has a landlord. Peter Obi has a landlord. So what? Were we not here? Let me tell you why I speak like that. I think I mentioned it here before. It was something that happened during Buhari and it was 2019 election when they were serving Buhari and Shibajo, the vice presidential candidate at the time, and the presidential candidate. They had sachets of peak milk and Milo. I was like, I didn't know on the milk and I don't know sachet. So you're telling me now that when you want to drink, you're using sachets to sachet of Milo. Okay. On get on your go. But that was cool branding. Okay. But even that one was more like show, don't tell. Once you begin to tell, you are lying. But that's Peter Obi and what he wants us to believe. There are some other videos here. Okay, since we're still on him, I'm just going to play a few videos, just a couple, very short, Google 2 minutes ago, and then we'll go to other things, okay? This one is said is actually quite interesting. Take a listen to this.
But this year, they go 3 things say you know be anything. And now we be Nigeria pass. So
why you talk to her? How you be Nigeria pass? You be Nigeria pass me.
So, if you go for anywhere for this country, when you see the citizens of the place finish, like woman will go see.
Zibo people there everywhere.
Now they do trade, now they do workers, now they do local shop, everything. And now us they come Lagos, build house, go Ibadan, build house, go Meduguri, where they even fight, build house, go Yola, build house, everywhere we did. They could treat us like people who say you want to stay here. But as they push us like every day, they go back us, they go to our house. The government, they don't want us to be part of anything. Even when they do posts, they know they give us. Even if they will give us, they give us the one where maybe they just give these people, like they don't chop all the meat, maybe they take the.
Would you believe that was the presidential candidate? Now and then be Nigerian. That was this Peter Obi. When that guy did put a video out and said, "Oh, Igbos is the educated people that speak, is the uneducated people that talk all those nonsense." Is that not Peter Obi? That's like the Lord and Savior of most people. I mean, over 90% of the votes in the South went to him, something around that figure. So clearly, it means something to folks in the Southeast. Guess what he just said? They are the real Nigerians. If you go anywhere in Nigeria, after the owners of the land, that them, where did you have the census? After the owners of the land, that them remain. Anywhere you go, now them they build houses, develop different parts. Even where you work, then they develop because you are what developer. Then he mentioned one funny thing. They don't give them anything. Don't give them whatever roles they give them. As if they give them bones. They've eaten the meat. This is a presidential candidate. This is a person who is telling you about this. When they say that it's only the illiterate that talk like this, I don't think he's. I mean, I think he's educated, right? At least he's one of the elites in Igbo land. That's the presidential candidate. And one more thing from the great Peter Obi. Take a listen.
Today, rice is 100,000 naira. we're not even sure where we're going to be with this situation. Is our turn? Is a Yoruba man? Ask the people in Ogun here. Is there any place you will buy bread cheaper? So I can follow you this night and buy one. Country.
How is that different from what the average Joe says on social media or anywhere else? The Yoruba man is very cheaper in Ogun. Everybody sounds alike. But here's what Showore had to say about Peter Obi. It was at a podcast, and this is his own opinion as far as Peter Obi and propaganda are concerned. Take a listen.
He had won the 2023 election. Do you think he would have done better than what Tinubu is doing right now?
That was the reason I was supposed to be in 2022 and 2023, even when the whole country was saying, oh, he's better than, peanut butter. I said, look, how you will tell me what you did to Nigeria, you will show me what you did to your state when you were there for 8 years. And I've asked this question of all the people who support to be in this country. Nobody has been able to answer my question. Can you go and spend your next vacation in Anambra that will be left behind? Is there running water there? No. Did you build any schools that you can send your children to? The answer is no. They will tell you that you should go and verify. It was go and verify that took me to Abia. I have verified now. You all are upset. Because I am a person who is scientific in nature. Most people, and I keep saying this, don't know Obi more than I do. I knew Obi as far back as 2007 when he was governor of Anambra State. I was in the US and we were doing reporting on him so that his mandate would not be stolen from him by Chris Uba, the Uba brothers, who were Obasanjo's lackeys. So we fought for Obi to the point that, and you can ask Obi this if you find him, if his memory has not left him. When I first met Obi, it was in front of Professor Chino Achebe at Rhode Island in the US. He said to Achebe, he said, I've never met Showore before, but if not for this guy and Sahara reporters, I wouldn't have I wouldn't have been governor for 2 seasons. But by the time we were done with following Obi through media, we discovered that the guy didn't do anything. Everything he did was substandard. You could never find the road that he constructed has not been eroded. He didn't build any school. These things are not things that has not been eroded. He didn't build any school. These things are not things that were told to me. These are things that I covered. And he's very good at propaganda, to the point that when we then turned against him as Sahara reporters, I'm saying it because when we found out we started reporting on all his shenanigans, he was very upset. There's a guy known as Valentine Obi. He's one of the most rabid propagandists there is. They were so upset with us. They went and printed posters in Aba, accusing me and Okene Ndibe, who was a columnist with Sahara reporters, of being gay.
Hey.
And posted it all over Aba. I still have a copy of the posters. It was done by this Valentine Obi, but Obi was the one who greenlighted it. But one thing most people don't know about Obi is,
are you saying that Peter Obi started the smear campaign?
Look, it was what he was doing even when he was doing as governor. To tell you, the Catholics, the Anglicans, they have a history of his way of, blackballing people.
But there's one more thing I want to play before I move on to other things. And this was an exclusive news center.
Removal of fuel subsidy. Considering that this current administration has said that
by June 2023, the subsidy will be removed. And how sustainable is subsidy to the Nigerian economy? Thank you.
Thank you. Well done. But I can assure you, it will go immediately. And I cannot allow it to stay a day longer.
So you remove subsidy?
Well, like I said, everything has to be, if this is going to happen, this is the result.
Would you remove subsidy?
We'll have to look at it critically.
Would you remove
yes.
subsidy?
Remember what I said, yes and no.
So your answer on subsidy is yes and,
yes.
And
yes.
no. Would you remove subsidy?
Oh boy. Yes or no? Yes. No, no. Yes, yes. Yes, yes, no, no. What's in the beatboxing? That's the person we are supposed to vote for. If we don't vote, then we are bigots and tribalists. Yeah, the man has but it's important to remind folks, especially people that are easily swayed by public opinion or by this mob thinking or whatever they do there. We have to remind ourselves. I'm looking for something. If I find it, I'll play for it. But if not, what I found is not good. Is somebody's father crying, "Where is Obi? Where is Obi? Where is Peter Obi? Where is Peter Obi? Where is Peter Obi? Give us Peter Obi before all of us will die in this country." Oh. Don't be like that, though. Don't do like that. This man is just who he is, and all those things about. You said you're going to remove it immediately. After Tinubu don't remove it, the Congress you say you remove it from day one. You say you didn't say day one. You just said you remove it. What's wrong with day one and immediately? You say it's not going to stay a day longer. Does not sound like day one. Then they say, are you going to remove it? Yes and no. Yes, yes, no, 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 yes, yes, no. That's supposed to be a presidential candidate, Abby. I like the fact that he's trying. Hopefully, he'll win something in the Southeast. Here's the funny thing. If you decide to create something in the Southeast now, and ask that people, let's say the South is a region on its own, let's say it was a region, and you ask them to vote Peter Obi. Peter Obi will not be the head of that region. He will not be the head of that region. I want to say something about IPOB and stuff, but before I go into that, since we're still talking about Peter Obi, I want you to listen to what he had to say. Things about IPOB. I want you to listen to that before we read the full list that the federal government released over the weekend. Take a listen to this.
And I live in Onitsha. And I can tell you they're not terrorists. Their people are passing on the road and everything every day. In fact, I can tell you they're civil. Because I meet them and I live with them. And I usually see people gathering and all that. And not one day did I feel a sense of threat or molestation or anything from them, even when they gather. You know?
Peter Obi says IPOB, they're not terrorists, they live together. Full list: Simon Ekpa, Tuka Mamu, IPOB. Federal government names 48 individuals, groups linked to terrorism financing. I'm reading from the cable. The federal government has published a list of 48 individuals and groups allegedly linked to terrorism financing in Nigeria. The list released on Saturday by Nigeria's Sanctions Committee includes persons and entities suspected of involvement in terrorism-related activities. links to proscribed and extremist groups such as Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, and South Sudan, and Islamic State, West African Province, ISWAP. Among those names is Simon Ekpa, a Finland-based separatist figure, I think is Finnish. District Court in Finland sentenced Ekpa to 6 years in prison for terrorism offenses. The court found Ekpa guilty of inciting terrorism and participating in the activities of a terrorist group. Also listed is Tuko Mamu, a Kaduna-based publisher who is currently facing trial in Nigeria over alleged involvement in terrorism financing. Mamu was arrested in 2022 and has since been arraigned on multiple charges filed by the federal government, including allegations of supporting terrorist groups through logistics and financial networks. He has denied the charges. Other individuals on the list, Amtu Sabat and so on, they have many other names, mostly from the north and from the east. And they have the groups and all those things. But here's the point. This man said that they are not terrorists. Have you noticed that you never hear Peter Obi speak against IPOB? It's not possible. It is not possible. Peter will never speak against IPOB. And you know the crazy part? And this is for Yoruba people who are supporting Peter Obi. They also shy away from IPOB, from condemning whatever IPOB does. They can't come out straight because their Lord and Messiah is for them. Who can be against them? First video, the first clip, which is why Peter Obi's poverty porn is a failing strategy. I think I saw one person trying to come up. Probably just going to hear that person out before we go to the second clip. But I can't see the person at the moment. Anyway, I don't know what's happening, but I'm just going to read the descriptions to the second video because I can't see the person. I don't want to have to see anything now until after the 3 clips, but if anybody sends a request, I'll probably just bring them up. For some reason, I can't find that person any longer. But I think it was Akado. Yes, it was Akado. Hello, Akado. Good evening. Hello?
Hello, Prof.
Good evening, Akado.
How are you, sir?
I'm very well, sir.
You see those requests when I'm paratapping, that's when they come up.
Okay.
Actually, when I press on the wrong guy, but it's nice to hear your voice always, and thank you
sir,
for everything you are doing, and
thank you,
may the Lord prosper you in every way.
Amen. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate you, sir. God bless you. Yeah. All right, so let's go to the second video. I'm going to read the description that we'll listen to it, okay? This one, when I was watching the picture here, it's a question really. That's the stuff you're seeing there. His Peter Obi playing the victim. The title here is the Victimhood Strategy, why Peter Obi is blaming the government for 2027. So I'm going to read the description that we'll listen to it. Again, description are like articles. It helps because I post the articles every day on Facebook and a few other platforms. So let's get into this one. The political landscape in Nigeria is witnessing a peculiar shift as the 2027 presidential race begins to take shape, particularly with Peter Obi's recent media appearances. In a recent interview, when asked to rate his chances for the next election on a scale of 1 to 10, his response was a masterclass in the politics of victimhood. Rather than highlighting a substantial 6 million votes from the previous electoral cycle or outlining a strategic advantage, Obi pivoted entirely toward blaming the government for a predicament he did not even bother to specify. One would hope he is not referring to the current friction within the ADC, which is clearly an internal matter being fueled by the party's own structure and local politics. They are doing a thorough job of creating their own hurdles without any need for external help, making his demoralizing narrative of worse being done to him feel like a diversion from the hard work of party building. This narrative, full of complaints and vague warnings that worse would be done to him, feels more like a retreat than a rallying cry for a leader who once inspired millions. What makes this shift even more concerning is the disconnect between his public quote-unquote saintly image and the divisive rhetoric found in his more private commentary. A video recently surfaced showing him sharing an opinion about the Yoruba people based on an unverified WhatsApp broadcast. In it, he paints a picture of a Yoruba person wanting the region to refuse to vote for Obi out of a bizarre fear that his victory will lead to the creation of seaports in the landlocked southeast, or that it would suddenly enable people to build houses in Lagos, as if that was not happening for decades. This type of ethnic baiting is becoming a hallmark of his political brand, reminiscent of the 2023 campaign, where his supporters labeled Chris Ngige a Yoruba candidate simply for running on the APC ticket. The strategic use of religious and ethnic dichotomies has left a visible mark on the country's unity. During the last election, we saw a strange and unnecessary rivalry created even within the Christian community, where Catholics and Anglicans were essentially pushed to pick opposing sides. For a man who now blames the government for every hurdle he faces, it is important to remember that these divisive seeds were often sown by his own camp. Nigerians are beginning to notice that the new politics promised in 2023 is increasingly looking like the old politics of bitterness and fragmentation. The time has come for Mr. Obi to pick up the gauntlet and do the actual work of a leader. Real leadership requires inspiring followers through vision and resilience, not through baseless blame games and depressing narratives. Many of his supporters are discovering that the candidate they saw in the last election might not be the unifying figure they originally thought he was. As the cycle for 2027 warms up, the country deserves an opposition that builds bridges rather than one that relies on the seaport in the desert logic to stay relevant. We wish him the best, but we expect better. Here is the victimhood strategy, why Peter Obi is blaming the government for 2027. Enjoy. Recently, Peter Obi granted an interview, I think it was Symphony, and then he had some interesting things to say. I'd like to take a listen to Mr. Peter Obi.
We have SSA on Peter Obi. So, from the present administration to INEC to party issues, the courts, the odds seem to be against their emergence as a candidate and president of Nigeria in 2027. On a scale of 1 to 10, can you rate your chances of being Nigeria's president in 2027?
Well, while I will rate my chances, I can tell that what you're even saying, I'm going through worse experience than that. What is happening to me in Nigeria today cannot be described. I can't even tell you, because you're looking to where people are probably the most investigated, news in which you can make a living deliberately, ensuring that you're left with nothing. And again, do lots of things to make life insecure for you. And above all fighting to ensure that you do not emerge as a candidate of a party. For me, they're only making me stronger.
That was very depressing. Very depressing. How can a leader not be inspirational? How? How do you want to lead people without being able to rouse them? How do you? It's very depressing. I felt really bad listening to it. Not feeling bad for him because I don't have time for all those emotional blackmail, but just wondering how people follow somebody so depressing. So he's saying that, oh, the person who asked the question was saying something about the fact that they didn't want him to win because some people are thinking about SSC or Peter Obi. It's that important. They don't want him to win. They don't want him to run. So everybody's against him. Then it's like, oh, if they're against me, they are going to do worse than that. And I want to play you. I want to play that, and then I want you to listen to the. I mean, leaders are supposed to be able to inspire people. Like, oh wow. Anyway, just listen to that question, and I'm going to say something about it. Take a listen again to that interview.
On a scale of 1 to 10, can you rate your chances of being Nigeria's president in 2027?
Well, while I won't rate my chances, I can tell that what you're even saying, I'm going through worse experience than that. What is happening to me in Nigeria today cannot be described. I can't even tell you. Because you're looking to where people are probably the most investigated. They're killing all avenues in which you can make a living, deliberately, ensuring that you're left with nothing. And again, doing lots of things to make life insecure for you. And above all, fighting to ensure that you do not emerge as a candidate of a party. For me, they're only making me strong. Because I believe that I have to fight for the future of society.
Reality, thank you for joining us. Very good question. She says, what was the question again? The question was, on a scale of 1 to 10, can you rate your chances? That was the question. The answer was, is a victim. See what they are doing to me. They will even do worse. They don't want me to emerge as candidate. They are doing this to me, but I'll be strong. I'll be strong. No confidence, no alertness, no inspiration, nothing, no aura. That leadership, that capacity that you actually, it's not so much what you have, it's actually how you make people feel around you. Like, we can do this, we can do this. I mean, you could have said something like, you know what, you're asking me on the scale of 1 to 10, I could give myself 7 or maybe 8, even if it's not, like, I have a large base of followership, I have them across Nigeria, they're not just in one particular part, even though they're mostly concentrated in the Southeast, but you can find a way to, I mean, you are leading people, not see what they're doing to me. Oh, I have this large, followership base. We're working in ADC. We're working towards having a consensus candidate. And once we have that, I hope it's me. I'm sure apart from my followership, we're going to have the party backing me up. I'll be able to give Tinubu a run for his money. That's what you say. And I'm not even a political kini. It's crazy. Like, this is the person that people are shouting is the Messiah. Nothing inspiring. Like, just let people actually feel like you're worth it. I mean, the primaries are happening very soon, so the conversation should be like, even like Timbati, we know, like once we're done, once we're done with the primaries, or maybe you have a consensus candidate, whichever one, and if I emerge, with my followership and then the structure of the other people that are coming together to form the coalition, we'll be able to push, like even from the number 7 over 10 that I have, I'm very sure I'm going to win it. So if I were a member of ADC or an obedient movement, I feel elated, like morale high, want to do something. Not on a scale of 1 to 10, tell us your chances of becoming president of Nigeria in 2027. You see what they have done to me. They will see, what have they done to you? Say they have stopped you from eating. You have business. There are things that one can just keep quiet. Like, it's sad. Like, I've said several times, I would want to have, and I want Tinubu to win, clearly. But number 2, it would be nice to have somebody actually say, you know what, more counter this man. Even if they don't, so they will be like a very formidable opposition party. So the party is not just chilling. I mean, think about it. Between 2011 and 2015, what APC did with PDP at the time, nobody has gone to APC since 2015. Nobody. PDP was not ready to be an opposition party. They were just used to winning. They were already saying they're going to be there for, 70 or 100 years. They were already looking forward to, longevity without, the kind of structure they require to be able to do it. And now that you have APC, you need someone to say, you know what? I mean, there are things that the president is doing. They're not all. It's not everything he's doing that is right. It's not everything he's doing that is perfect. There are things you can actually zero in on and say, you've got to do this better. And if he also feels like, okay, there are people watching, there's an opposition party, I've got to, get things sorted. But no, he also be talking big. So his people would just be saying, oh, and to be fair, he's doing well, but he's not perfect. Who should be able to highlight not all this destructive criticism to need tomorrow? Just, he's not being contrarian, he's just not looking for something bad in everything. For instance, I listened to Alhaji Abubakar last week, and they asked him, what would you change in everything that President Tinubu has done if you become president? And the man said everything. How are you going to change everything? I'm going to change everything. What do you mean everything? So there will be no, we're going to have to reintroduce subsidies since we're changing everything. All these roads we are constructing all over Nigeria, this coastal highway, Badagry, Sokoto Badagry, all those, we have remove everything because we are changing everything. There's no nail fund. Students are not going to get any loans anymore. All these other things that the government is doing, we're going to have to remove everything because we're changing everything. How do you want to be a formidable opposition party if you are not specific about anything? Because when you say everything, you're really saying nothing. But that's where we are in Nigeria. And these somebody are supposed to be a formidable opponent, saying that, see what they're doing to me. Very childish. But when it comes to playing divisive politics, that's where his voice is loud. And I'm going to play you an example so it doesn't look like I'm just, attacking, because why should we attack after we're not playing football? Take a listen to Peter Obi as he gives us the definition of his chances of becoming president, which of course is divisive, very divisive. Take a listen to this.
What's a WhatsApp sent by Tinubu's group? No, read it out. I want to read that. Everybody.
Power gladly.
No. Okay. Just say that.
shine your eyes on. If you vote for P2B, is automatically voting for seaport in South and Southeast. The Igbos will stop coming to Lagos State to invest, rather they will go to Delta and River State. They may even stop building houses in Lagos. It will affect a lot of Yorubas. Yoruba Renu.
This is your content. You don't see the value of let's have something better. He really got the confusion. And that's it. And he was about I'm not sorry, I'm not using it.
Okay.
He was about it.
Okay.
What because they are giving you more, said they are buying the best country. Even when you come to that's the problem of the country. That's the problem. Let's ask himself a question. Hey, he will tell you. Somebody said to me, these candidates, they were the people who fought about it to the standstill. So
This man actually wants to be the president of Nigeria, and a very complex country like ours with so many ethnicities, and of course we also have very sophisticated people. You're going to lead this country, and what you're doing is reading what you call a WhatsApp broadcast that could have been written by the most stupid person of the street, Yoruba Renu. Number one, the things they even said doesn't make sense. Oh, Yoruba, shine your eye. If Peter Obi wins, he will build seaports in South and Southeast. Number one, there are already seaports in South. Number two, there can never be a seaport in the Southeast. And it's not because anybody hates anybody, because God did not give you sea. The same way God did not give you Ibadan sea, and He didn't give Sokoto sea. I don't know what this thing about sea, seaport. As if you don't have seaport, you're going to die. What's all this seaport? It's becoming like seaport, not even seaport anymore. So the Yoruba people will vote against Peter Obi because it's going to give them seaports in the South. There are already seaports in the South. Ona is functional. There's seaport in Calabar. Warri is functional. Can they get better? Of course. There's seaport in Port Harcourt. I mean, it's literally in the name, Port Harcourt. There's seaport there. There cannot be seaport in the Southeast because there's no sea there. You can't create. I mean, to have a seaport, first you have to have a sea. You know, there's this stuff from, I think it was from Amy McPherson, when somebody asked her, about, how she was going to get people to come for her event. And she said, it's like a story about how to cook a rabbit stew. Number one, you have to get a rabbit. You want to have seaport, the first thing you have to have is sea. You don't have sea, so you can't have seaport. It has nothing to do with people not wanting to vote for you. You now say, because your Igbos to stop building houses in Lagos. I mean, the person who actually wrote that is actually very dumb. You know what? May not be like I say I just talk. Listen to it just one more time. A presidential candidate is reading that and saying that they found it in Tinubu.
A WhatsApp sent by Tinubu's group. No, read that. I want to read that. Everybody.
Okay.
Just read that what he said.
Yoruba, shine your eyes on. If you vote for P2B, is automatically voting for seaport in South and Southeast. The Igbos will stop coming to Lagos State to invest, rather they will go to Delta and River State. They may even stop building houses in Lagos. It will affect a lot of Yorubas. Yoruba Renu.
if you will stop building the house, that is what people want now. I mean, Lagos is overwhelmed. It's bursting at its seams. It's bursting everywhere. Like, if you want to stop, it's a blessing. What do you mean? No, it may even stop them from building houses. So Yoruba, they'll not come and do business again in Lagos. They'll be going to the Delta. That's what I want to see happen. Why? So that other parts of Nigeria can also develop. I hate that the way they say that develop, but I guess it's the accent. Other places can also develop. You get the point, right? Let's spread the development to other places. It doesn't have to all be in Lagos. Why do you think Lagos has built Lekki Deep Sea Port? The next one now is Badagry Seaport. It's going to be built by Lagos State, not federal government. Ogun State is working with Dangote to build a seaport in Ogun State right now. Ondo State is working with a Swiss consortium to build one, although we've not heard so much about it in a while. Akwa Ibom is building Ibom Seaport, Ibom Deep Seaport, which I'm very proud of, considering I like Akwa Ibom. So, excuse me, all these are not federal government projects. They're state government and private, like PPP, state government projects. Why can't people think beyond federal government doing something for them? But that's not even the real issue. The real issue is that the presidential candidate that wants to govern Nigeria deemed it fit to actually go on camera and talk about the fact that they saw something from one WhatsApp stuff that belongs to Tinubu. Any clown could have written. But it's not new. It's not new at all, because in 2013, I have some reports from 2013 about how Iran Anambra State. This is from Onyeon Kuzi on Twitter. It says Peter Obi introduced another level of religious politics in the Southeast, and that is very wrong. You know what he's talking about? Anambra is largely Igbo, like mostly Igbo, right? There are other ethnic groups there. Now they're speaking out because people don't really realize. But anyway, it's mostly Igbo. So that means that it's largely homogeneous, like one ethnicity. Even in that place, they found a way to create dichotomy between Anglican and Catholic. That's the best thing I want to lead Nigeria. Someone says Abga. And that time, this was in November of 2013. Abga seems to be running an anti-Yoruba strategy in its battle with Ngige. How do people on ground perceive this? Do you know what they will call anti-Yoruba? Ngige was an APC. So they called him, I think they called him Tunde or something. They called him a Yoruba person. In other words, they are trying to discredit him by calling him Yoruba governor, even though he's Igbo. Somebody responded to Onyeku, he said Catholic becomes rep and Anglican takes state of assembly. It works for us that way. And then the gentleman responded, that's different from Peter Obi. If you are not Catholic, you can't be in his inner caucus. It's that simple. Someone said they call APC Yoruba. Yes, they call APC Yoruba party. And when this man was rising, although he was building statues all over the place, but he did a lot of good stuff as well. That's Rochas or Korocha. They were calling him Fulan Okoro. I remember having a conversation with someone, I think it should be 2019 or 2020 thereabout. I mean, when Abuja and we're talking, and at the time, right, the most prominent Igbo, like that has this national outlook at the time, was Rochas. Rochas has schools in Jos, in Ibadan, in the east as well, in different parts of Nigeria. He has, I mean, he worked with Obasanjo, to fix up the ecumenical center. He had done this, he has this national outlook essentially. So I was like, why are you guys not talking about him? The person was an Igbo. I was like, hey, he's not our own. He's like, why do you call everybody that can be appealing to others? You call them something. It's either they are Fulani Stooges, or they are Yoruba, or they are Korausa. Why do you do that? Why do you reduce your chances by just looking for clannish people? I still think, right? No, well, now it's Umai. It's Umai. Umai has proven himself, especially with the work he has done in the Ministry of Works. He has. I mean, Okorocha is still there, but Umai is more. To me, I may be wrong. But to me, I think he's the most visible politician from the Southeast. Let something come like an opportunity, they'll vote against him. It has to be somebody that is myopic, somebody that is always looking for a way to divide. It's interesting. But that is where you are going to hear some people tell us about unity and how Nigeria. This was 2013, though, when he was governor, when Peter Obi was governor. When Abga was busy running anti-Yoruba strategy, saying the person was Yoruba. I want to read something to you from one of the famous Nazi propaganda minister. That's Joseph Goebbels. He says, accuse the other side of that which you are guilty. Nobody has done it better than obedience and folk on the Southeast. You accuse the other side what you are guilty of. It says, accuse the other side of that which you are guilty. I mean, Joseph Goebbels, you couldn't have had Nazi without Joseph Goebbels. And I said it several times. I think it was last week we're talking about some of the rhetorics of Ezekiel in the 1940s, that those things were straight out of Nazi playbook. Whether it was Lebensstrom or the supremacy or superiority of the Igbo race. Those two things they pushed, and they still push. Maybe they don't even know how they got it. I would just like to tell everybody, you got it from Zeke and some of you educated in the 1930s, late 1930s into 1940s. By 1949, it was a done deal. It was already ingrained in the mindset of the average person from the south, from the Igbo land. As soon as they went to school, if you don't go to school, you are fine. As soon as you go to school like this, you can't go meet them. They can't tell you, say now like this. They will tell you two things. Number one, you have a right anywhere. That's the Lebensstrom. Expansionist agenda, living spaces. Number two is that you are better than everybody. And Zeke didn't only say it, he wrote it down. He will write it when he's reporting events and when he's talking to Igbo people. But when he's talking to Nigeria, I'll tell you that you're all the same. We'll talk about that much later, because today we're discussing is 1951 politics. Second video, thank you very much for listening to that. That had to do with the victimhood strategy that is playing. And of course, if you've been watching or been listening, since we started, you'll see the pattern. Okay, you've not really heard anything about God to this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to change things. This is my plan. This is the idea I have. You don't hear anything like that. All you hear is either about, your people are trying to do something against him, or the government is working against him. It's just, I don't know how people that follow him, I don't know what you guys see. May God heal you, because you need it. You can't make any. Maybe the standard is too high. Maybe I have a very high standard, to be honest. And to be honest, again, we need. Let me just make a very good point. I think I should say it here. It would be nice, right, if we can find a formidable opponent that can go against Tinubu, even though I want Tinubu to win. But I think it will do Nigeria a whole lot of good if we have a formidable opponent. This one, I don't understand what they're saying. Like, it's not like they are too deep for me to understand. It's that they're too shallow to even contemplate understanding what they're saying, because they're talking like they're talking to kids. Nothing inspiring and nothing futuristic, nothing strategic in the things they say. Oh, see, oh, they say Yoruba, no. And the presidential candidate is spreading that. But yeah, that's the height of people's intelligence. Anyway, the final video is this one, the Jesus analogy. Peter Obi compares new allies to prostitutes and tax collectors. And it will be the final one. Then we'll get into conversations. If you'd like to, get involved in the conversation, please feel free to send your request once this video is done playing. All right. Like we always do, I'm going to read the description of this one as well. Then we will listen together. So let's get started. The recent attempt by Peter Obi to justify his associations with individuals he previously labeled as the structure of criminality has reached a level of absurdity that defines the word weird. When asked why he is now hobnobbing with the same criminals he criticized not too long ago, Obi responded by comparing his political maneuvers to the ministry of Jesus Christ. He claimed his actions mirrored those of Jesus because the biblical figure counted tax collectors and prostitutes among his friends. This bizarre comparison suggests a level of moral grandstanding that seeks to sanctify political opportunism. The narrative becomes even more convenient as Obi now asserts that these new associates are actually being persecuted by the government. Individuals who were once the face of corruption in his eyes are suddenly transformed into victims the moment they enter his inner circle. This radical shift highlights a major flaw in the political brand of Peter Obi, as he places himself and his allies on a pedestal only to reveal that he is fundamentally similar to the people he once condemned. It is this specific behavior that led Omoyele Sowore to refer to him as a hypocrite. The current strategy implies that the only requirement for a total pardon and the title of a victim is to become an associate of Peter Obi. Once that connection is made, all previous sins and criminal structures are effectively forgiven and forgotten. This pattern of behavior is a significant problem for a movement that claims to be different from the old guard. Obedience and the broader public must now confront a reality where the structure of criminality is a rebrand. I'll say that again. Obedience and the broader public must now confront a reality where the structure of criminality is rebranded as a circle of saints as soon as it serves a tactical purpose for the 2027 elections. Here's the new Jesus analogy. Peter Obi compares new allies to prostitutes and tax collectors. Enjoy. All right, let's go on to the organ of the movement that's against every good news in this country, and that's Obi himself, because the movement is called Obedient. Obedient for a reason. It is well. All right, let's listen to him. He had this interview where they asked him about the fact that he's now hobnobbing with folks he had criticized in the past, and he had an interesting thing to say. I wondered how he thought of it, but take a listen.
So what do you say to such persons who say, yes, Obi has been preaching the need to have a corruption-free society, but in the same breath, is dining with perceived corrupt individuals?
I think the most important thing in our life today, especially me, is the Almighty God, which was represented in His Son Jesus, that came. When Jesus came here, His friends were tax collectors and prostitutes. Because it's all part of what He's trying to change. It's all part of what He's trying to build as a person. I'm not saying I don't know any of them who have been convicted for corruption. Most of them are actually facing persecution because yesterday they were the people who were saints. Let me let Malame Rufai, for example. Everybody knows contribution of Malame Rufai to the present government. Everybody knows contribution of Malami, all these people. So, are they really? And you can look around and see so many other people who are part of this government. So, why are these ones being persecuted? Are they going to the rule of law?
Please, one second. Let's just listen one more time because I'm trying to wrap my head. I've heard it. I've listened to it before now. I don't want to doubt my capacity to understand Peter Obi because it's been very difficult understanding him specifically. I understand things, so but him, it's a lot of work. Somebody is asking, what was the question? That's the point. By the time he's done with his answer, you forget the question because what he's saying has nothing to do with what was asked. But just to fulfill all righteousness, let's listen one more time. It's quite short, so it shouldn't be a bother. Take a listen, please.
So what do you say to such persons who say, yes, Obi has been preaching the need to have a corruption-free society, but in the same breath, is dining with perceived corrupt individuals?
I think the most important thing in our life today, especially me, is the Almighty God, which was represented in His Son Jesus, that came. When Jesus came here, His friends were tax collectors and prostitutes. Because it's all part of what He's trying to change. It's all part of what He's trying to build as the person. I'm not saying, I don't know any of them who have been convicted for corruption. Most of them are actually facing persecution because yesterday they were the people who were sent. Let me let Malame Rufai, for example. Everybody knows contribution of Malame Rufai to the present government. Everybody knows contribution of Malami, all these people. So, are they really? And you can look around and see so many other people who are part of this government. So, why are these ones being persecuted? Are they going to the rule of law?
Rule of law for it. Are they going through the rule of law? They are persecuting them. What are they asking? What are you saying? Are you Jesus? Say, when Jesus walked the earth, he was working with prostitutes. Are you a minister? Are you an evangelist? Are you a prophet? Someone says prophet Obi. Maybe he has become prophet Obi. Are you a minister? Are you doing it as a person? Are you doing it even as a Christian from a ministry standpoint? Or are you just being opportunistic? In other words, you're doing this because it favors you. This is where the folks you refer to as structure of criminality. Now you are making a case for the fact that they're being persecuted. This is... I have a question. Please, I've been asked. I had that question last time. You guys who follow this guy, what exactly do you see? And I sang a song that day. Tell me what you see when you look at him. Like, what do you see? And you can help me understand because there is nothing inspiring. You know, I used to like his frugality. Okay, I remember there was a conference, the one that Pastor Kojo invited him to years ago. He came around and talked about how he had one shoe. He had one watch. And then that was even what actually gave me. In Koto really gave me was when he was talking about how he it cut costs, right? In domestic affairs and in governance. I was like, oh, this is quite good. Then I discovered something. It's not enough to cut costs and save money. You have to be able to actually generate revenue or generate money. I was just thinking, wait, what's the sense in you being the governor? The roads are bad, right? Things need to be done in the state, but choose to save the money in a bank where you have interest, and you're going to have, so that money, you're not really using to do anything for the people. You just save it. Then later you say, I saved the money. But you save that money in the bank where you get interest. Which means that the bank is using the money of the state to run their own business while the money is quote. So people assume that when you say I saved the money was just sitting somewhere quietly in the bank. No, the money was being used by the bank to do business. Meanwhile, you have all these things that could have been done, schools that could have been built, doctors that were not paid for 13 months and all of those things. So I wonder, those people who are saying, this is his Messiah, follow him. What is it? You started by saying he was a saint. Now they are telling him that he's working with folks that you guys insulted last time. Now you are saying that you are like Jesus. You're not their mouthpiece. You are speaking for them, whether they are being persecuted. The other day was with Malami. The same, the crazy part. See, politics. People move and change a lot. This is the truth. In politics, people change their minds often. It's not good because it shows that they're not stable. But a lot of people do it a lot. But you see, one of the things that if you know that you're a politician and you're going to be changing your mind like your fellow politicians, you don't have lots of statesmen in Nigeria, to be honest, right? People that can say, okay, this was my opinion last year. It's the same thing now. Okay, I've changed something because of new information, but it's not like I've moved away from what I believed in. Okay, what I believed. These guys, they move every second. But here's the point. You're a politician, that's how you move, that's okay. You know the real issue? The real issue is that posturing. When you put yourself on a pedestal, like you are better than everybody else, you are the saint and the Messiah, and only for you to come out and become the exact thing. What pains people like me is not even that you are being a politician, is that you are deceiving people that you are better than them, but you're not different. You're not really different. And you know what? It's not a problem that you're not different. You're a politician. There's something we expect from you. It's not like you're a fantastic leader or anything. Tell me 5 people from his cabinet who are still with him when he was governor. The deputy governors, where are they? 5. Okay, make it 3. That's it consistently with him. That's leadership. But you just be saying, we don't do this, we don't do that, as though you are different, only for you to do exactly the same thing. You're now holding forth for the same structure of criminality. Anyway, while people were complaining about that, some people were supporting him. Showore did not have time for, he called him straight. He said he was a hypocrite. But before I read what Showore had to say, let me read to you a report from when he went to Bauchi State. Peter Obi is currently, this is from Nigeria Affairs Journal, Peter Obi is currently holding a closed-door meeting with Governor Bala Mohammed over his presidential ambition at the Bauchi State Government House. Peter Obi was accompanied by some Igbo elders, ADC senators from the southeast, and his political associates to the meeting with the governor. I just want to ask a question. Is this man trying to become Nigeria's president or the president of the southeast? You traveled all the way to Bauchi. You went with Igbo leaders and ADC from southeast. This would be acceptable if you are going to Sokoto to go and visit Nnamdi Kanu, but you are going to see a northern governor. You can't carry. Are you having an Igbo? Anyway, Let me play what Shore had to say, because this is how they go around telling that they are better than everybody, only to go consult the same people that they've been insulting. Again, it's politics. It's politics, but be a politician. Don't be moving like this. Stay one place in case thunder won't fire you. Thunder will not fire us in Jesus' name. Thunder will not fire him too in Jesus' name, because I don't like bad things happening to bad people. Anyway, Shore has something to say about Peter Obi and his praise for the North. Take a listen.
If you go to the North, yes, we can turn the North to the assets, the greatest asset, but every Nigeria can be turned into the greatest asset. Every inch of Nigeria has, but Obi wants to belatedly start pleasing the North. Is it not the same Obi that put Northerners inside the bus and repatriated them to the North? That time he forgot that the North is the asset of Nigeria. Don't let the hypocrite be deceiving you. Did you not pack Northerners and put them inside a vehicle, Northern beggars, and ask them to be repatriated within Nigeria? But if they want to run for office, they are just looking for Northern votes. They start misyanning. How many schools did he build in the North when he was governor? I'm not saying it's his duty. The only thing that he did for the North when he was governor of Anambra State for 8 years was to repatriate Northern beggars back to the North. So, but to answer his question, I agree with him. The North is the great asset. The South is the great asset. The North Central, Southwest, everywhere is great asset in the country. The country is just waiting for leadership. You'll be surprised that the North, South, everywhere will be churning out prosperity.
That's one article online. It says, nobody can do what I intend to do in the North. This is from Northern Magazine. Nobody can do what I intend to do in the North. We will change the North. Our greatest asset lies there, and agriculture can generate more revenue than oil. That was from Peter Obi. You know what? I'll play you something from his speech last year when he was talking about the North being a great asset. Take a listen, please. I wanted to hear everything he had to say, but I think it's the audio quality and then his voice texture matters either. But yeah, said the North is Nigeria's greatest asset. Wonderful. Is God not wonderful? Politicians have very interesting ways of getting at people. Just say you want to clap for them. North is Nigeria's greatest. The presidential candidate says unlocking the North agricultural strength, human capital, and productivity is key to reducing poverty and driving national growth. Former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has declared Northern Nigeria as the country's most valuable asset, promising to unlock its immense potential through strategic investments and purposeful leadership. Speaking during an engagement with stakeholders, Obi highlighted the region's vast arable land, strong agricultural base, and large population as critical advantages capable of transforming Nigeria's economic fortunes. He stressed that targeted investment in agriculture, education, and productivity will not only lift millions out of poverty, but also stimulate sustainable national development. According to him, the North holds the key to Nigeria's food security, job creation, and long-term economic stability. While he's saying all of those things, I mean, I think that's what Choreo is referring to. Like, you will install the North at home, but then you will now say that they have the greatest asset. I'm waiting for a day who's going to come and do something in the Southwest, and that's when they'll remind him about how APC was called the Yoruba Party, and now they call Ngige Tunde, so that people will not vote for him in the South, in Anambra State. Who did that? Peter Obi and his party in Anambra State. But, I mean, he's who he is. I'm very sure those who follow him have their reasons, but regardless of why they are following him, it ain't gonna work. So that was Peter Obi. We are wrapping up. One of the people that actually went with him to that place, I think, one second, let me just confirm, because I thought I saw him there. I saw him now. Victor me was one of the people himself, the other gentleman, Abaribe. They all went with him to Bauchi. But here's what Victor May said about this wonderful Peter Obi a while back. Take a listen, please.
A different game. And I said, look, I'm not somebody who can come around because you are controlling money. It doesn't work like that. I said, conduct local government election. I've always continued to say that, even in this studio. This is not the first time I'm saying it. Since 2010, he refused. I said, no, that cannot have only you as an elected official. We must have other people, because at the time we were having this disagreement, PDP had 30 members in the House of Assembly, 10 people in the House of Rep, 3 senators. They didn't have any. Conduct local government elections so that our party people can also participate in governance, and it became an offense.
So that's the genesis of the problem.
That is the genesis of the problem, if you don't know. I've said it clearly, and each time they come to counter me, they've not been able to counter it. It is in the open, and the party people in Anambra State are solidly with me.
So, he did not organize local government elections while he was governor, and then when he was asked about his legacy in Anambra State, he had the most interesting response. I think you should hear it. Take a listen, please.
Soludo said that you did not leave any tangible legacy in your state. Can I ask you to explain why Mr. Soludo is wrong?
When people ask me what did you do in Anambra State, I said I brought civility and order in government, in governance. At least I brought an ordered behavior. You see, often at the time, are people looking for physical infrastructure as a model? No. There's a difference between even people having what you call ordered behavior.
So inculcating a culture.
A culture of ordered behavior, a pattern, a discipline. And people can say, this man is doing the right thing. I brought them. Everything I did in Anambra State, the best advice I got in Anambra State to stop crime in a place called Piweka was, I got the advice from a madman.
What did you do? You brought, is it sanity or what? I don't even know about what you said. So, sometimes just hold yourself back because if you say everything within your mind, some people are just interested in people in this country. And these are the ones that are criticizing the government, though. Maybe it has something to do with the source of the advice. Maybe. I don't know. But it is well. I think it has something to do with the source of their advice. Okay? Opiweka got the advice from a madman. And what did you do? You change the order of civility. Why not just become war against indiscipline so you can be able to kill? So I brought civility and order. Well done. War against indiscipline. Anyway, that's it for the video. As I said in recent times, and why this man is not fit. He is not fit to be a governor in Southwest, let alone the president of Nigeria. I mean, of course, he's been a governor in the East. The funny thing is that when he was governor in the Southeast in Anambra State, I mean, if we want to get into it, you will see so many complaints and curses from his people while he was governor. They hated him. They wrote about it. It's not, and they can't erase it because it's all over the internet. They cursed him out, said they didn't want him, he did this, he didn't do this, and all. They just kept complaining. As soon as they hear that now they want to become president, it became a national, it became an, what's the word? An ethnic project. Now all those things about national thing is unraveling. There's really nothing national about it. It's actually more ethnic than it wants us to believe. So I'm going to read some of the comments before we go. Mr. Bio says they are swearing for him while he was some tweets back in the day, right? Because see, the people that you're leading in the heat of the moment, they know exactly what they're going through, right? And you should have like a few people that will say no, won't she encounter that. In other words, you may have people that will say what you're doing is not cool, you're not doing anything for them, which is normal in politics. But at least that thing should be balanced out by other groups that are saying that, oh, you're doing well. How do you go through different people talking about Peter Obi and everything you see is negative while he was, governor? And you can, well, I haven't found, and I'm still looking for, more examples of people actually talking about how great he was as a governor. You don't really see anything like that while he was governor. It's everything that's saying about his greatness now is in hindsight. Oh, he did this. Okay, how do we know? Go and verify. You're not going to verify, you don't find anything, then they'll say that you're a bigot. Anyway, some of the things that they talked about there, I have a picture here, for instance. Somebody says, this person is called Chisom. So Peter Obi had put out a statement. This was 21st October 2020. This is not even when he was governor. He said the killing of peaceful protesters at the Lekki toll gate and other parts of the country yesterday is condemnable. It should not have happened. Chisom says God will punish you the most for what you turned Anambra State into. Your end is very near. This was on 24th October 2020. Well, by 7th January 2023, Chisom is saying, you people, I met my president, Peter Obi, our incoming. He's so calm. He literally said he turned Anambra. 2020, he wasn't trying to be president. So at that time, you still remember the things that he did as governor, and you were there saying it was a terrible person. Then suddenly he's the best thing since sliced bread, and the rest of us have to, celebrate it. It's crazy. Anyway, I just thought I should read that particular one, but there are many, right? I talk about the things that he did as governor, and I've not really seen, people praising him that much. Most of them are condemning his performance as governor. I don't know if that person is not the kind of person you should have become president. Let me say a few more comments. Facebook. Joseph Esemeka, he says removal of subsidy an issue, but use of money. I think he meant that it's not the issue, but use of money. How much has your man borrowed to date? I mean, whatever. I'm sure you must have the answer to that question. The question is also that it's not about borrowing; it's about what they are using the money for. So you said the removal of subsidy is not the issue, but the use of money. I'm also responding to you that borrowing money is not the issue, but the use of the money. So what has the money been used for? So it says, please, Nigeria moving forward. What is the difference between, listen to this clown, no? What is the difference between IPOB, OPC, Sunday Igboho, and Nnamdi Kanu? Nigeria will be great if people like you are not ethnically biased. You are literally ethnically biased. In fact, you're not biased, you're a bigot, and you're a very ignorant person. How do you people grow old to be like this and are still like this? Because this person is very old. You should be in your 60s. How can you be old like this and still have this kind of mindset? You first posture, you have this thing of, I want to talk for Nigeria. Then you descend to your clannish mindset by comparing IPOB and OPC. Well, the difference is that IPOB is a proscribed organization. You guys are terrorist lovers and terrorist supporters. Sunday Igboho and this other clan that you're talking about, Nnamdi Kanu, they are not the same. One had ESN. Sunday Igboho did not have ESN. May God bless all. I mean, we all spoke up the other day, and I'm very happy for Sunday Igboho, the path he's taking right now, by organizing a security outfit similar to what Tompolo has in Niger Delta. That's what Sunday Igboho is running now. Okay, and his scope of operation is Yoruba land. Now, that is run from Eastern Security Network being armed. That's a non-state actor having guns and ammunition. I know the funny thing, these guys kill your people, but you still cannot speak against them because you are 60 years old. So let me just leave you alone. Because how do you raise young people with elders like this? How? You see the way your young people are messing about, just constituting nuisance, especially on social media, just talking rubbish. Like, if they have people like you, there's no way they're supposed to be wiser than how they are. So I really shouldn't be blaming them. Well done, eh? You have really destroyed the next generation. Congratulations, Joseph Esemeka. But you are old enough to not be thinking like this. I don't know. Well, I'm sure your father's son. Michael Okolawon responded by saying, well, those organizations that you mentioned, apart from IPOB, are not terrorists. They don't kill their own people, declare a sit at home, and enforce it by killing and beating anyone who disobeys. He was responding to Esemeka, and then Esemeka responds, Michael Okolawon, Nigeria is going nowhere with your tribalism. You see how stupid these people can be. How is Komolafe being tribalistic in what he just said right now? Is IPOB a terrorist organization? Yes. Is it proscribed? Yes. Did they have sit at home? Yes. Did they kill their own people? Yes. Did they beat their own people? Yes. The people that should now speak up against them are the ones telling Okolawon that, I mean, and Esemeka is not the only one. Peter Obi says the same thing. He said they are his brothers. You are now saying that he is the one who is a tribalist. You, who are both criminals and all this, whatever you're doing, you are above the fray. With elders like you, the next generation is doomed. May God send helpers, because it will not be doomed in Jesus' name. But left with people like you, I feel sorry for the next generation of people because how can you turn what you just said right now to tribalism, Joseph Esemeka? I'm looking at your picture. You are old. But growing old is from growing up, so it's that one is there. I'll read what you said, I'll read everything. It says, Michael Okonola, Nigeria is going nowhere with your tribalism, nepotism, hatred, and type of politics. I do know you go to school, but you should travel out of your state, which is a better education. It doesn't have to travel out of the state. It's not a nomad, it's not a vagabond, and it doesn't have scarcity back at home. And this is a crazy thing. A person leaves a house because there's nothing, of worth, of substance there. I mean, let me not say nothing, not much or substance, moves around, lives in other people's spaces, tells those people how to do their things and tells them to travel to his own space. Why would I go to your place that you're coming from? And why would you tell me about traveling out to learn something when you clearly don't know what you're talking about? Just because you're moving around like a vagabond, it doesn't mean you have learned anything in your travels. People need to be telling these clowns the truth. And what did that man say that warranted all this rubbish of tribalism? You're a clown. You're not even worthy of the respect I was trying to give you, but I'm still trying, because that's something I could say. I'm just keeping quiet. This guy disturbs me every time on Facebook. He's always typing all kinds of things, and he's always about, oh, you're a tribalist, oh, I retired. Meanwhile, because they know that Yoruba people respect age, they will now be, he's not using it today, but usually he uses it. They don't say, oh, I'm Kiniko, I finished school, Kiniko, I retired, Kiniko, I went, Kiniko. What's my business is when you stopped? Someone sent me a message yesterday, said I moved to Lagos in 1975. Kilo, come I don't care that you moved to Lagos in 75, but that you were born in 1924. The point is that you are not making sense. And age does not confer wisdom. And you cannot use age to change Nigeria's history or change the conversation and tell people to just stop talking because you got to Lagos in 75. What's my business? You got to Lagos in 75, you are still behaving like a person from the bush in 2026. Should we respect age? Of course we respect age until we discover that Agbayenti. And that's something that I think people should know about Yoruba people. Yes, we respect people a lot. We respect age. But once you move beyond your boundaries, nobody will care. You hear something like, it means that regardless of your age, they're already telling you that your age is not correct. They always respect elders. We respect elders until, especially those who know that we know that on a normal day, because the things that you are demanding, you are expecting in Yoruba land, you not even get it from your own people. You can't go everywhere just acting as like a nuisance and then expect people to respect you. Respect you that what? I spoke like this because this one has been disturbing me on Facebook for a long time. Today is your day of reckoning. Well, it's not even the day of reckoning because there are things I'm trying not to say. But sincerely, I think, with this elders in Igbo land, the next generation needs special prayers. And I'm not even joking. I'm not joking. You can't have a conversation like invoking elders. The funny thing is that what we listen to, the person was pushed means that you are a tribalist. You see how ridiculous these people can be. And when I say these people, it's a cultural thing. To be clear, it's a cultural thing. And it's not about they're not like one or two or three bad eggs. It's a cultural thing. Victimhood is a strategy that has been embedded in your DNA. But it's not going to work on anybody. So all this one, like I know you went to school and so did you not go to school? Did you not teach you how do people raise people? I don't care about this old man, to be honest. I feel very bad for the next generation. How do you have conversations with young people? You can disagree. Here's the point, right? Yes, I'm playing what he said. I'm as factual as can be, but you can still disagree, and that's okay. But if you're going to disagree, at least disagree like somebody that can think, not just be throwing up like I thought you went to school, or you're a tribalist. All those things don't make sense. Meanwhile, if you call me a tribalist, it doesn't really mean anything to me because I don't care what you call me. It doesn't change anything. I am who I am, and you are who you are. Hopefully, you evolve because you need it. Why don't I need to evolve? Because I've completed the cycle. My father did it for me, so all I need to do is just to build on that foundation. Your fathers failed you. How can you be talking tribalism on some small matters like this? Anyway, I think I've said what I want to say. If you like, type something else again. I would not really say what I want. Actually, what the? Let's have somebody so I can stop. My battlefield, good evening. At least you are an Agbalagba, so maybe you can talk on this matter. Agbalagba, me like you can't dagba ko ma danu. So rather. Ẹkáàbọ.
Thanks for this session again. You've been wonderful. Okay. Going back to the topic. You see, those people, I blame Nigeria and I blame Nigerians for the states, for the mental state of the Igbo, because we pandered to them for too long. Especially the North did not speak up. So they thought we were just that we were the aggressor, whereas it's the opposite. Okay. You see, I'm going back to your question. I've always asked those who voted Obi. I've never, none of them have ever answered my question. I said, what did you see in Obi for you to vote for Obi? They will tell you, because he was a young person. And that's so person. I said, so Shawara is not a young person. Shawara is even younger. You ask many young people, for you to appraise someone, you have to check their past antecedents and compare with their capacity. This guy lacks every indice of capacity. He hasn't got anything. Honestly, I was on Facebook throughout before the election, and I really finished him. They hated me because they didn't want to hear the truth. And I challenged him. That the certificate he was having was not his own, and I have evidence. I challenged him, and he knew. He had his degree before he went to school, before he went to sit for his school site. That was why Obi could not bring out his degree. So he used his secondary school certificate. And people were aware that this person is a fraud. But and I look back. If you see when he was in Anambra State, they didn't like him at all. He committed so many atrocities. And this same guy who actually hammering on education, well, while he was in Anambra, he said education in quotes is not for the poor. And he actually increased school fees to about 120-something thousand naira. Even some universities, they are not even paying 1,120 now. Can you imagine? It baffles me. I think we need to have a conversation with our young people. They are easily led. They are easily impressed. Which is okay, normal for young people. But the world is so vast now. The internet is there. You can research. You can search things. That's why now I decline people and say, "Oh, where do you find the information?" I said, "Go and search. I can't be doing the research for you. Search. If you are the one who challenging me, search before you come to challenge me." So this guy hasn't got the capacity. He hasn't got anything, and I believe, and I strongly believe so, that if Obi by any chance at all should ever, maybe in 20 years' time, come back again and rule Nigeria, Nigeria will divide. And I remember what this guy said. One Igbo lawyer. I think it's part of his one of his followers now. He said Obi will disgrace the Igbos. He said Obi will open the yansh of the Igbos if he should even ever come out to contest. And he was right. I think it was lawyer. He has this English name. I can't remember. Lawyer, whatever. If I remember his name, I will probably remind you. So this Nigeria needs to sit down. We need to sit down and say, okay, what are the requirements for someone who wants to lead us? Okay, this guy he hasn't got capacity. He's only running on emotional fuel. It's so sad. It's quite sad that at this age that people are listening. If you watch his interviews, it has nothing to offer. He's so blank, very morbid sometimes, very finger pointing. He can never take account for his crime, for his sins. He will always defer. He will always deflect. It's so sad. So that's what I want to say, really. It's quite sad, really. Probably you need to hold, maybe after some session on leadership and qualities of a leader. He lacks everything. He's the worst presidential candidate in this of Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned. The worst candidate. How a system could ever throw up someone like Obi baffles me a lot. He lacks everything. He can't. And I'm sure, throughout his 8 years, he didn't conduct any local government election until the 8th year. So that means all the money I marked for local government, probably that was the money he was saving in that account. And he didn't pay contractors too. So he was owing. And I showed someone the state of affairs in Anambra State when he was governor. Because this also, he saved money. And I said, no, that was 2022. I said, this guy saved money. But look at the state of Anambra. That means he lacks vision. He hasn't got the vision to say, okay, this is the money. Saving money is nothing, but you have to use it. That means it's like, the talent, the story of the talent in the Bible. Exactly. Exactly. That's what it will be for you. It's quite shameful that Nigeria as a nation could produce something like that. I pray for our young people. I hope we will to Ghana and encourage them to choose a better leader and think more thoughtful in choosing leaders, because we won't be here forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my battlefield. And I really hope that people will be more discerning. Like I said, I'm going to repeat what I've been saying all the while. It's important to have an opposition party. It's important to have an alternative, even though they will not win, in Jesus' name. Because I want Tinubu to win. Apparently, I don't have to hide that. And I'd rather do that than form one unbiased umpire. I'm partisan as far as Tinubu is concerned. I want him to win. But even then, it would be nice to have somebody who can actually put him on his toes, right? The ones we have right now is just a shame. It's a shame that there's nobody that can actually say, okay, you know what you're doing, this is a better way to do it. There's nothing better about all of this, people just crying all over the place. All they want is just a chance at power, and they can't get it that way. This man spent over 30 years of his life building the structures that he's using right now. If you don't like it, well, and that's apart from the ones that were built for him by others who I won't mention. So whatever people want to say, they should say, but it would be nice to actually have somebody who is cerebral, somebody who can actually, and we have a number of them, but the ones I know are not in the race at the moment. And Peter Obi is definitely not one of them. It could not be a local government chairman in Lagos State. I'm telling you, and I'm not even joking. I don't know what he did a local government chairman in Lagos State has not done. I don't know. Is it the Miracle Center? That's the one that they have not done, Sha. So all this, people just, it's good. See, let me tell you something. It's not about perfection, to be clear. It's not about perfection. Nobody's perfect. Not even none of us. Nobody's perfect. And politicians will be politicians. What I dislike is this thing where you place yourself on a pedestal and create this, essentially a facade that you are better. For us, it's a mirage, because we get them that there's no substance to what you're saying. You are not different from the people you are insulting, and in some cases you're even worse than them. But you have these people propping everybody up and shouting, Kinikon saying you're going to change Kinikon structure of criminality. Everybody you insulted, you are now working with them. And that's the way of a politician. Was I expecting him to work with Malami and all of them? Yes. Am I surprised he's working with them? No. So why am I speaking against it? Because the narrative is still on that is better than them. And he also has this very funny thing, posturing like, oh, I want shake Kiniko, and there's nothing there. Then you hear him talk about all this thing about poverty porn. Listen, Nigeria, I don't think that after what happened with Jonathan, just because you don't have shoes doesn't mean anything. Oh, I didn't wear shoes when I went to school. I mean, thank God you have shoes now. I mean, it's good to hear your story, but that's it. The idea that if you don't have shoes, you cannot become president doesn't make sense. Oh, you have a landlord. So, the point is what your plan for the people, you know, not the fact that you lack something. Meanwhile, the person who says he has a landlord in a place actually has buildings in different places. So the question is, what's the goal of stating, oh, I have a landlord, I cook my own food, I do. And as a married man, I don't know how that is supposed to be a plus, but that's just me. Maybe people have other ideas about these things. Anyway, we're going to call it a day now. Tomorrow, we'll be here at 4 p.m. if we're time West African time. I'll go more into history, not won't do a lot of politics. Hopefully tomorrow we'll do more history, and hopefully that will also help us to appreciate our own past as Yoruba people. And sincerely, I get pissed sometimes because you just wonder if not for Nigeria, question about where if not a normal day, because but since it's important to also so found your way there are things you don't do, and hopefully everybody understands it. Lastly, if you're a Yoruba person, I want to speak to you directly. This, you may not agree, that's okay, but please go through, look at the people you are supporting. Okay, what are they promising? I was going through what Chore was talking about. I was like, okay, it's actually quite good. Idealistic, not realistic, but at least he has a plan, even though I know that, I wouldn't support him. But I think it's good to actually just survey and see what people want to do before you make up your mind. I'll prefer you choose Tinubu. And the reason, of course, is because of the structural approach he has to Nigeria's problem, or Nigeria's problems. Problems of Nigeria is not this thing where you just talk and it will be solved. Whenever I hear people say things like, and I've heard a lot of politicians in Nigeria say it, and I think it's dishonest. Many of them say it. Oh, this thing is not rocket science. There's no big deal about it. If you say that about anything that is social science, social sciences can be more difficult than rocket science, because human beings, although they can be predictable, they can also be unpredictable. It depends on what they show you. Meanwhile, it's not just about humans. There are many other moving parts. So when people say things like, oh, this governance is not rocket science, I'm like, have you led a club? Even a family of a few members of a family know how difficult it can be with people. I'm saying that to say that there's nothing like it's not rocket science. It is rocket science. In fact, it's difficult, more difficult than rocket science. Okay? But when we look at the options we have right now, and if I see a person who is looking at that situation, like, okay, this is what we need to put in place to get this done, I'd rather go for him than somebody who just comes out, just tells you, I'm going to change. What did he say the other day? It's going to remove subsidy immediately. He will not let it go on for one more day. Then they asked him, you said you're going to remove it from day one. He said it's not day one. What's wrong between day one and not one more day? And then they ask, are you going to remove it? Yes and no. Are you going to remove it? No. No. Yes. Yes. One skip. Be recorded to scratch. So it gives you an idea that you don't really have a person who has thought through Nigeria's problem enough to come up with realistic and workable solutions. So that's about Peter Obi. But for Tinubu, I believe that the way he's handling the economy, what he's doing with student loans, what he's doing with development commissions, even though we really need to see those people working, I think what has been stopping them is the budget, right? The development commissions across the 6 regions. And I really can't wait for, the reorganization of Nigeria's structure itself. We have to have conversations about resource control. We have to have conversations about fiscal federalism. We have to have conversations about autonomy of, different tiers of government. Those kind of conversations. You don't hear all these political guys talk about it, and that's the painful part. The only thing they say is that people are hungry. And I'm not saying people are not hungry. Okay, and may God feed all of us. It's not like I have £1 billion tucked somewhere. May God bless all of us, and may God feed all of us. And may we also be able to help those who are hungry around us, because it's also important that we are helping folks. But the conversation has to go beyond this food thing. When you're talking to the masses, you can talk about food. When you're having conversation about policies, I think people should go a bit deeper and more serious. How do you make sure that you put up things that will ensure that food will not be a problem? Not just be shouting food. People are hungry. Even our TV hosts, people are hungry. And it's a shame. You can't really go deep into things that would... some of them are trying. I'm not saying all of them are like that, but I just noticed that it's one argument people keep bringing up in Nigeria's context. Oh, people are hungry. People have always been hungry. Jesus said, the poor you will always have among you. Okay, so I di talaka. Tabade di talaka, and whoever is here that's listening to, if you're struggling with one thing, maybe finances and economy, may God bless you. May God open doors for you. I mean, you get the idea that you require to be able to break through. And that's for all of us. We need next level, Abby. The ideas we require will get in Jesus' name. But when it comes to governance, I think we should go deeper. All right. The structure of Nigeria is messed up. It's messed up. That kind of conversation that I hope that we'll have in the coming days. Thank you very much for being part of today's session. I'm just going to look at some things here on YouTube. Someone says I'm Yoruba extremist. Why are you an extremist? Why are you an extremist? That's an interesting thing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like extreme things, but maybe you will explain if you have the chance. CJ says, when China meets China. Mr. Bayo says, how he became governor baffles me as well. Meanwhile, they choose the best. Imagine if that's the best. That means that there's no hope, but I hope it's not the best, so that there is hope. Mr. Bayo says, I think Ojukwu influence made him to become governor. Different things could have been responsible for that. But I know that Peter Obi, I don't see any. I can't compare him with any of our governors in Lagos. The best I can do if I'm staying in Lagos is maybe a local government chairman, and I think some of them actually did better than him. To be fair, in my opinion, and I can bring out the comparison, not go and verify. My battle is yes, one West okay ni pẹ̀lú ẹkún omijé Ojukwu. Okay, Otoni, I remember now that you said it, there's a picture of Ojukwu lifting his hand. It is what it is. If you worked with them, then God bless them. Considering Proventor says the Yorubas in Kogi and Kwara should be allowed to self-determine. I think everybody should be allowed to self-determine. Because to say they should self-determine would be that maybe they want to have a new state or something. They can't do that. Nigeria, see, constitution was going. Constitution was The only way you can do that is if you create states for them. But the word self-determined, I don't know how it's going to play out. Essentially, the entire thing needs to be, rejigged. But thank you for that submission. It's important. It's a good conversations. Abiodun Rabi on Facebook says, how do you expect to have civilized environment when the no, I don't want to read that one. So I can get angry, but there's some things I can't say. You can't call an ethnicity that, it's too bad. I know I can. Sometimes I can actually, like earlier, I get angry and say stuff, but even then there are limits. Please don't do that now. Go there. All right. Esho, thank you very much for being part of today's session. I promise that tomorrow we're going to have the person who wrote in the conversation wants to explain himself. Oh boy. We're going to keep it short, Sha, please.
Good evening, Prof.
Good evening.
I called this comment session, but I was going to say something actually. Sorry, I'm coming this late. I was in the middle of work.
Okay.
So that was why I couldn't, but I was listening in the background. So I think we should also have a tale of caution for people that are trying to go to the extreme. Because most times when you see that things are going bad, we will have a group of people that come, they now overcorrect. And now there's no reason for you to be an extremist. There's no reason for you to be be balanced.
Yes.
Identify who you are, know who you are, and be proud of who you are, and be grounded in who you are, so that you are not shaken, you are not blown from left to right, like the Bible said, You have to have a firm foundation. So, that being said, it's also one of the reasons you have people like Trump in power. There was a time they pushed Trump out. But when you have people like Biden and then all the old funny sexual identity stuff and all the LGBTQ and all the letters of the alphabet movement, then you had the extreme conservatives, the far right. They now had to overcorrect, and then you had someone like Trump, and then we have where we are today. The price of diesel and fuel is where it is today. So even we are seeing, someone said something today. I saw a documentary, sort of a mini documentary by Arise News on the construction industry in Nigeria, and they were interviewing the MD of Land, one of the grade A contractor companies. The man said he got to Lagos in 1980 something, and he's one of the biggest contractors in Lagos now, alongside people like in the civil space, Kapanda, Batu, and others. So the man said, he said something about, he said Lagos, let me put it this way. He said a lot of people are moving back to Nigeria, and the truth is that the future is in Nigeria, right? And in as much as people are doing things, he said, okay, this is exactly what he said. He said, when there's problem in Abuja, people run to Lagos. When there's problem in Port Harcourt and what do you call it, in the oil producing regions, everybody runs to Lagos. When there's problem in the north, they run to Lagos. When there's problem anywhere in Nigeria, Lagos is more stable. He literally said that today. He said Lagos is more stable. All the good schools are in Lagos. Everybody wants to, they come to Lagos. Lagos is where they are building and they feel comfortable with. There's a reason that is. It's because of the policy of moderation that we have as a people. We don't go to the extreme. Even when we feel bad about people that are doing things that are wrong in our area, we still handle the whole issue with moderation and omoluabi. That's the key thing. That is why we don't have extremism. Even when we are not happy with the government of the day, we'll still find grounds to debate, find grounds to protest in a peaceful way. So we must not lose that. Just to say, people that are saying we are Yoruba extreme, no, we don't need to do that. Just be Yoruba, just be you. in due time, all the things that we know today to be the right things, everybody in Nigeria will catch up to it. We had women rights before Igbo came and started catching up to it. We had rights of children, of women, of everybody in society, both the rich and the poor. So what we are doing is right. Let's stick with it. Let's just stand our ground and make things good. Like I said, I was saying it yesterday, or was it the day before yesterday, that Lagos has gotten it right. Ogun State is getting it right as well. We are going to be a model, just like Baba did. Make your space good. Everybody will come and look at that template and run by it. We will be the one to tell them through our actions that this is how you behave like a normal human being. Not going to everybody's country and telling them that they are lazy, they are this, they are that. So thank you very much. That's just what I wanted to add. Thanks, Prof.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. No, not Mr. Thank you very much, Bumblebee. We can't put Mr. in front of a nickname, but I'm glad you're here, Sean. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to call it a day now. We'll be here 4 p.m. Ife time, West African time tomorrow, and tomorrow we're going to go deep into something that has to do with Yoruba history. All right, that should be up later today. So thank you very much for being here. I want to thank those who liked the live and also got us to 113.9k likes. I know a lot of people actually contributed, but I'm just going to mention Koboko and Abi71 because I see their names often. And if I don't call your name, it doesn't matter. I appreciate you. Thank you, everyone, for power tapping. And Olayinka Oladejo, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everybody, for your support. And folks on YouTube and Facebook, thanks for liking and sharing and for enjoying I'm sure you enjoyed the live. All right. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, regardless of the platform you're listening, so you can long form content, and also subscribe to TikTok. Thank you very much. I'll see you 4 p.m. Agomerin Rodola, 4 p.m. Ife time, West African time. Before we go, we'll listen to our anthems, the Nigerian anthem, and also the Yoruba anthem. Sinchin, glad to have you. We tried to get you back yesterday, but I'm glad you're here now. Thank you for joining us. All right. So before we go, we'll listen to our anthems, the Nigerian anthem, and then the Yoruba anthem. I'm sure you're gonna like it. Enjoy, please.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
àwa ni mọ́lẹ̀ ògùn adúláwọ̀ ìmọ́lẹ̀ wo ni wọ́kùn lágbára Ọlọ́run ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ò ní bàjẹ́ Nàìjíríà náà ò ní bàjẹ́ ilé ìwọ náà wọ̀ ò ní bàjẹ́ o. What about the Ole Amayori Cyril Agbára Ọlọ́run? Thank you very much for being here and for, spending your evening with me. We'll be here 4 p.m. Ife time, West African time tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing you there. Do have a lovely evening. God bless you. Esho, thank you, my battlefield. Thank you, Bumblebee, everybody who came up. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Odaro.